Hello and welcome back to Saas-Fee in Switzerland for the second World Cup of the year. It's time for the men's lead semi-finals. Earlier on we had the women's semi-finals and we need to update you on a few results from earlier on today because things have changed since we went off air. So this is our current top 8 and you'll notice that Olga Kosek and Selina Bosshard are no longer in that top 8. Why is that? Well, there was an incident, a technical incident involving the athletes touching a hole in the wall, and we'll show you that. You can see there down right at the very bottom of that leaderboard now. Super unfortunate for them, but I'll show you what happened. So on the wall there are a couple of holes, and there you go, you can see athlete's foot in the holes. That's not allowed, accidental by the athletes of course, but rules are rules. We can see both athletes touch them, so they've been downgraded in terms of their score. We have a new top 8. So let's move on to the men's side of things now as we look at the cup standings. And this is the current standings for the UIAA World Cup. Young-geon Kwon up on the top. Young-geon Lee, he'll climb last here this afternoon. Climbing in, is currently in second place on the World Cup standings. Of course, everyone wants to take that overall title. And it's all to play for in our second World Cup with one more to go. Now, time to introduce my co-commentator, Daniel Kepke. Daniel, welcome. You're part of Team USA, and we can see a lot of your teammates in the semi-final. Hello and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Matt. Yeah, it's been a really successful World Cup for Team USA, and you know, we're just happy to have a place here with the world's best.
Well, you are certainly up with the world's best, and you give me a unique opportunity to ask about your teammates, because I presume you're with them this morning. So how is Team USA feeling? How are they all doing?
We're really excited. You know, we're getting to the point where this isn't completely new for folks to be in the semifinals, but we love Saas-Fee, and everyone's trying to stay focused while also enjoying being here.
Awesome. Well, it is an amazing venue. Very historic, of course. We are inside of a car park, but what a car park it is. An incredible venue for ice climbing to take place in. Right, our first athlete, Patrick, is out from Team Switzerland. Big kick into the wall to start things off. And Daniel, for people who haven't climbed on this wall or don't know what it's like, I find it such an intimidating place just to be in. What's it like as an athlete climbing on this thing?
Sure, you know, you mentioned it's a car park, but, you know, if you're looking at it from the inside, it's some kind of a mix between a spaceship and, you know, this world-class facility. You've got 10 levels, and the spectators are all around you cheering you on, and the music is bumping. It's a really fun place to climb. Yeah,
it's a visceral experience, isn't it? And this is what Patrick has to deal with as he starts things off. We've got 16 athletes in this semi-final. The athlete out first, Patrick, qualified in last position, and Young-geon Lee qualified in first, so he'll be out last. And apparently quite a tricky start to this men's route. Metal holds and also a mantle thing, so this is going to be interesting.
Right, yeah, you know, those metal holds are really tricky, really easy to skate off of those real fast, and of course you want to fly from the start to make good time, but you've got to be careful. In Saas-Fee, it's really easy to pop on these technical holds.
Yeah, absolutely, and no one wants to fall off before that first quick draw. And you can see this is that mantle move, creeping his way up, locking in the axes and wrapping on the metal itself. And now up into a Steinpull, pushing with the cheeks of the axe, locked in underneath. And Daniel, you mentioned this this unique setup, and we can see now the layers going on. It must be so weird to me because you climb up a bit and suddenly you've got someone's face right next to yours.
Right, it's right there. You know, I resisted yesterday during qualifiers, you know, cheering for teammates and friends because you're so close it could almost be disturbing. But these are world-class athletes. They're used to it, but, you know, people notice those things. When you're climbing, you just can't help but notice the photographers and your friends and teammates cheering you on.
Absolutely. Well, we can see now our shot in shot just to show you how tiny and horrible some of these holds are. And you may notice on the left, that is our leaderboard. So currently, Patrick is the only athlete out. So obviously he's leading the way. As we make our way through the 16, we'll be able to see who's winning and where the athletes need to get to, because of course we're looking to just 8. Patrick kicking in the wall, reaching high. Fairly slow start so far, but he just wants to make sure of these holds, right?
Yeah, we've got a little more time in the semifinals compared to the qualifiers, and with those stone holds, you know, they're quite slippery. So yeah, no one wants to fall off before they get a chance to clip, especially.
Absolutely. And when you say stone holds, for the uninitiated, you literally do mean stone, don't you?
Oh yes. Now we mentioned the metal holds. They're very slippery and skatey, but yeah, those are stone holds, and actually here at Saas-Fee, there are probably more stone holds than your average competition. In Korea last week, many of their holds were resin. And we see a blue resin hold there on the volume that Patrick just flew through. But yeah, those stone holds are pretty classic Saas-Fee route setting.
Well, there is one of the chief route setter who is looking. It must be such a nerve-wracking moment for a set of this to see if everything works.
It is. He's excited to see people climb on it, but he wants people to do well. And you know, I remember last week in France and of course in Korea too, these route setters are a little nervous, but of course just as excited as they are nervous.
Exactly. Well, those we see 2 holes on the men's route. That's the issue we had with the women's routes. They're there for the men as well, so just keep an eye on that if you're watching at home. Obviously, the athlete cannot use those. It would be an advantage and might be a bit dangerous, but we do have to keep an eye on it. Now, big Steinpulls here, double Steinpulls.
Right, and it's a little bit of a gas stone position where he's got his arms on both sides pushing out, but of course Patrick's managing really well here.
Absolutely. Well, he's far on the right of this wall. From here on, he really launches straight upwards. And big moves for this men's competition, as you'd expect. And that is all he's on. I mean, Patrick, what on earth do you guys do when you climb on that? It just blows my mind.
Sure. Now, that's a classic Saas-Fee hold. You know, he's maybe seen that before. But, yeah, you know, you've got to be able to climb on just about everything, and that's part of the fun, too.
Exactly. Well, as Patrick makes his way over to the right now, this is a fairly long traverse all the way towards that 6.
And you can see there's all kinds of different aspects to this route. There's a traverse. We're going to, see some more overhanging sections soon too.
And that hole he's in now has multiple choices on it. There's lots of holes drilled into it. I'm not sure if they are different depths of holes, but you have got to pick them as an athlete, haven't you?
There you go. So now he's matching the tools. He's got some different options.
A strong start from the Swiss local here. First athlete out. Do let me know on the live stream chat who you're cheering for. We'll talk more about the chat in a minute after this. But this is a huge stretch for him. I think he needs to change his feet around a bit.
Yeah, that's a good call, Matt. You're exactly right.
Well, that's the hold he's going for.
You see that he's changing his handle as well, right? He was in short position, and now he's moving so his left hand's in the long position.
Yeah, he's trying to give himself ultimate stretch, but boy, is that at the limit of his reach. Now gets it in, flicks the feet over. And that was his first real challenging move, I think, so far.
You can see a little bit of sense of urgency with Patrick. He realizes that he doesn't have a whole lot of time left. We're just about at the minute mark here.
Yeah, that 6 minute goes quick. And he will be, he'll have an eye on the clock, and also teammates will shout up at him and let him know how much time he has.
He's starting to shake out a bit, too. Now, there's really not too much time to shake, but you can't help but get a little fatigued on these difficult routes when he's actually overhanging a bit right now.
Now, this move is fascinating because there's multiple ways through it, but the one the route setters would like to see them do is to actually put their hand on that rock and then dyno up with the ice axe. But they did say you could lock it off.
Sure, yeah, you can see there's different options. He's hitting it on top with one tool, he used an under with the other, and now he's trying to figure it out.
28 is the maximum points available. I'll go through the points in a minute. Right now, Patrick really having a moment on this move. It is a confusing one. He's going to go for a jump with 2 axes. Goes up, misses it, drops down and saves himself.
He's got just a little bit of time here, so I think he knows he's got to go for it. But there he goes. He's got the hand on the rock now. Yeah,
that is the intended beater, but it's a bit wild, and Patrick comes down. End of his run. Okay, well, let's just quickly talk about the chat here. I've got YouTube up in front of me. You guys can comment. You can ask questions to Daniel next to me, Team USA, who has far more knowledge of ice climbing than I do, so he'll answer any of your questions. But also just say hello. I know Jan Havel is back on, of course. He's been watching every single event. Hello, Melody Serra from Colorado. Lovely to see you.
I'm guessing that's someone connected to Sam Serra from Team USA.
That's a good point. Yeah. And we're just watching a highlight here of Patrick's run. Started to get a bit pumped, and that was the huge reach in the middle. He did struggle a little on.
He made really good use of his time, though, right? It's a big dyno move. He only had 10 or 15 seconds left, so while he still had some juice, he figured he might as well go for it. We'll see what other climbers are actually able to move through that.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. It's not a morpho move, so the setters tell me, but whenever they tell me that, I always give him a pinch of salt.
Can you tell Patrick was having fun up there?
There's a big smile on his face. Melody Sarah, yes, his mum, Sam Serra's mum. Well, hello, Sam Serra's mum. Lovely for you to join us on the live stream. Thank you so much. Right, well, Patrick will take a moment to reset. Our next athlete is out, Jorge from Spain. And we saw a massive Spanish team last week in Champagny. These guys are really coming on in recent years.
They're crushing it, and they're still quite young. I believe that Jorge actually won the European Cup or the Continental Open earlier this season and was on the podium, and his teammates are really performing well too.
Yeah, they are. Well, Spanish team is coming up, as is the Japanese team. We talked a lot about them in the women's comp. No Japanese men in this men's semi-final, but the women are certainly one to keep an eye on. And Patrick, this figure eight knot, I was talking about this with my co-commentator earlier on. Is it difficult to do a figure eight knot with gloves on?
Oh, that's the least of their worries.
See, it's my biggest worry.
If you can do a figure 4 or figure 9 and do dyno moves as a climber, the figure 8's pretty easy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, well, Jorge is ready to go. I think he's got multicolored tape there in his axes to match the Spanish flag, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to show a little national pride and get the fans and the sponsors as well excited about the gear you're wearing.
Absolutely. All right, Jorge, what can you do? Remember, we're just looking for just 8 athletes. Ralph on live stream is asking what the temperatures are. Right now, I'm not entirely sure of the exact temperature. Hopefully, we can get a readout of that. But it's not that cold. It was about 3 degrees last night for the speed.
Right. This is called the Ice Dome, and so it's a little cool here in the garage, with no natural sunlight or anything like that. But there've certainly been other competitions here at Saas-Fee have been far colder.
Exactly. It does kind of affect the athletes' warm-up sometimes. First hard move here, wrapping that axe around the metal hold. Got to be careful. Reaching up high into a steinpull. And that hand adjustment he's doing, why is he doing something like that?
Well, and you could see when he started off, he started with one hand in short and one hand in long. If you're in short, you're actually positioning yourself to be a little bit higher, but the long position gives you higher reach. So, there are a lot of different benefits of each, and part of what these world-class athletes have trained to do many times at home is to learn how to use each position the best. So you can see now he needs to pull himself up high, so he's in that short position after working his way up from the long.
Right, so he is nicely well established at the moment. Had a little bit of a moment there, and there we go. Current temperature -1. Oh, it's colder than I thought.
There we go. And so we've got a nice combination here. We've got this Korean hold, which is the classic resin that was used at the World Cup 2 weeks ago, and now he's moving to this classic SAM hold coming from Switzerland.
Oh, it looks horrible, doesn't it? We saw a close-up of that hold earlier on. There's almost nothing there for the axes. And we should explain, SAM hold is because Sam is one of the organisers here and he makes these holds. That's why you're saying SAM hold.
And it is true that these stone holds don't wear too much, but there is a little bit of wear from the metal pick on the stone. So it's not completely as slippery as it looks.
That looks disgusting, in all honesty. I think there's a little groove in there which you can match, but wow, just the very edges of the axe on that.
Oh,
and an early fall from Jorge. He was seen to be struggling with that match a bit.
You've really got to hit it in the right spot, and he doesn't have maybe as much Saas-Fee experience as Patrick, for instance, but I'm guessing we'll see him again soon.
Yeah, that's a good point, because some of the Swiss athletes will know these holds a little better than others, and we do see that a couple of times. So, chat, you've been very quiet. Any questions for Daniel next to me here? Do let me know. If you want to know anything about the gear, the tools, the rules even, you can ask us and we will respond, of course, if we know the answer. So Patrick puts that jacket, Jorge puts the jacket back on. Getting nice and warm after his run. And the athletes, Daniel, they're back behind the wall in kind of what is the party bar.
Sure, right. That's going to be a party bar later tonight after finals. But they're in isolation, right? They're not watching. And that's a little bit different compared to the qualifiers, where the athletes are able to watch each other climb.
Well, this is the moment he fell, pinging off the top of that. Didn't look very comfortable on that rock. Back down to the ground.
You can see there were some little black marks there. He might not have been in the precise spot that he really wanted to be. And it's hard, right? In dry tooling, you're so far below the holds. Compared to rock climbing, you're not able to see them as well. And of course, those tools are the extension of the nervous system, which is a little different than just using our hands to feel around.
Absolutely. Well, that is the task ahead of them. Basile Fetet from France, I forgot where he's from then, is out. And that is a cool axe as well. I'm loving that. I'm more obsessed with grip tape, I think, than I've been in anything else these competitions.
Yeah, I guess you don't see too much of that on the rock climbing world tour, huh?
You do not, no. There are different things to talk about there. But I do love a bit of a gear chat. So, yeah. All right, so, he's got matching gloves as well. That's made my day.
Hey, you gotta look good to climb good sometimes, right?
Oh, hell yeah. All right, well, he's up through the ice, and all of the athletes making this first section look fairly easy, but it's not that easy at the start. That's a tricky metal hold, and then we saw Patrick having to really lock off the mantle on this.
When Patrick and Basile are about the same size, I believe Jorge's a little bit taller. You can see these guys make up for a little less length with a lot of power and strength.
Yeah, absolutely, and he is having a moment to think about this. When we say a mantle move, it's a bit different from a mantle normally, but you are kind of pressing down on it.
Sure. And you're able to kick in to the wall, right? So he's going to have to get those feet up in order to make this move. There he goes.
Oh, how strong are his fingers? He's committing to the hands, wraps the axe. That's the kind of mantle I said, pushing down with the palm.
That's beautiful. Nice job from Basile.
Yeah, and good footwork to get that left foot high.
And you can see he's just trying to be delicate. You don't want to wiggle that tool too much, or you'll be right off.
And look at the edge. Such a fine margin on that one. All right, he's going to rotate around that Steinpull. And we have got questions coming in on the chat, so I'll answer them after this run. Don't you worry. But Basile reaches high up above. Kicking it in. You've got to be careful of the edge of the wall here. You can't hook around the edge of that.
No, yeah, there have been disqualifications in the past for that sort of thing.
So you're right. He goes towards the rock, nearing the point where Jorge had a problem. And he's looking a bit shaky here as he kicks his feet over to the left.
So we've got a question about the tools and the material of the tip. You know, we've got basically different kinds of hardened steel. And you don't want that steel to be too soft or it'll be damaged and you'll have to replace them more often. There are some even like tungsten layers that have been used to harden those tips. And there's still a lot of experimentation with the designs. But yeah, these are metal, metal picks. And so they're going to bite into the resin a little bit better than the metal, for instance. And then the stone is somewhere in between where the metal can kind of chew into the rock a little bit.
So I'll ask you more about gear later on as well, because I'm fascinating here by Basile's footwork. He had a sort of a drop knee, really sideways, but of course the crampons may not be as good in that position. He committed to it. And right, this is where we lost Jorge.
Let's see how he hits this here. You can see he's locked off and just kind of feeling around.
Oh. It's a nasty, nasty hold, this one.
And sometimes you're wiggling the tool.
Oh.
Don't want to wiggle it too much, though.
I tell you what, Patrick, he cruised through that move. I didn't really pay any attention, and suddenly we realised it's actually a bit of a stopper move.
Sure.
Now, Daniel, Jan Havel is asking, socks in climbing shoes. I presume he's asking, do you guys wear socks in your fruit boots?
Right. Yeah. Short answer is yes, right? You're used to, the temperatures being kind of cold. There's a lot of reasons to wear those socks. Some of the women will wear the socks on the outside of their pants to show a little style. But a lot of times, you're kind of wanting to keep those things in tight so that as you're kicking with those boots, you don't catch a cramp on your lower layers.
There we go. Well, let's watch. That was the drop knee that he lost the first time, kicked it in and committed to it, which I was impressed with. Look at that. Down, turned knee all the way to the ground. And let's see where he fell. That left pick just exploding off. I guess it's fairly blind, that hook.
It's very blind, right? Like compared to rock climbing, the tool puts the person an extra half meter or 18 inches lower, and again, they're not able to use their hands to feel around and to know what's good or what's not. So that tool is all they have to know what they've got to work with, and sometimes you hit it in the wrong spot.
Well, we'll just stay quiet here and listen to this.
I think this is a local UIAA official. I'm guessing they're speaking Swiss German.
Yeah.
How's your Swiss German, Matt?
Oh, it's really good. I could translate it, but I'm not going to just because there isn't time. But yeah, obviously I know exactly what's going on here. All right, well, they had their conversation. And the reason we were just hearing that is because it's fascinating to listen to the athletes' conversation down there. So if we can, we'll be quiet in those moments and let you hear. Okay, Keenan Griscom, your teammate. Tell me a little bit about Keenan, because very strong boulderer, right?
Wow, Keenan's just such a strong climber. It's really exciting to see his development. He's also just a fun, wonderful person. And in Korea's World Cup, he placed third in lead, which is rather historic. He was in the semis in every single World Cup last year, so no surprise that he's here today. But yeah, he's got a really powerful climbing style and super fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, he's preparing himself, getting ready, gets those golf gloves tied down, and he's got quite a unique style, isn't he? Because I love his black and white gloves he's got going on as well.
Right. He also, I think, has this Keenan Panda kind of alias, right? And so it's funny with the black and white. He's got a lot of style. We've seen him with pink hair before and all kinds of fun designs.
Hang on a sec. Keenan Panda. You got to explain that.
Well, I don't know. I know he loves sushi too. I think Sushi Panda is another one of his, fun aliases or whatever. But yeah, he's just a really artistic guy, and it's really exciting to see Keenan's presence in the world of rock climbing, as well as ice climbing. I believe that he's a V10 boulderer. Climbs 514 and everything, but he really prefers this competition scene here. So yeah, we'll see how he handles some of these moves that were tricky for some of the other athletes, but I think what we'll see is that he's both got the technique as well as a lot of power.
Absolutely. Well, we've seen two athletes come off a tricky hold. Will Keenan be the one to break that duck? We don't want 3 out of 3 here. Very close to the edge of the wall with that right foot.
And Keenan's done really well. He mentioned that he's trying to work on his consistency, right? He's had some outstanding performances, but as a developing climber who's still, improving and making his mark in the world scene, he's really trying to consistently make the finals and, of course, before long, consistently earn those podiums.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's see what he can do. He's coming up to the danger hold. We didn't realize it the first time, but this is one of the lower cruxes for this route for sure.
You can see him using his hands. He's not scared to use his hands. As a rock climber, he really enjoys.
Now he's using a different part of this.
Let's see how this works.
Yeah.
Sometimes the climbers are completely hitting the wrong place on the hold. Of course, they do get a chance to view the routes ahead of time.
Oh. Well, that hold is a vicious one. He was on the tiniest of side pulls then and really put a lot of weight into it.
It's a big hold. There's a lot of surface area on there, right? Especially looking at it from beneath. There's a lot of different surfaces, and it's hard to know exactly which one's best.
Wow, well, this semi-finals is going by in a blink of an eye. We've had 3 fall in the same place. Now, if you're just joining us, we're here for the men's semi-final. The women's semi-final took place earlier on this morning. Fair enough if you didn't join us. It was quite early on. There are some of our women. In fact, that was my co-commentator in the middle there earlier on. And hello to you in the crowd. And tonight we have the men and women's finals, 6:30? Yes, 6:30 Central European time for that. And let's watch this. Look how much weight he had in that. It's risky, but as you said, a lot of surface area.
I almost wonder that if pulling to the side was working well for him, and then whenever he placed his hand on top, he shifted his weight to place a little more force downward, and that's when he went. So it'll be exciting to see how the other climbers use that hold.
Absolutely. Well, there are 2 of them. Let's listen to this chat. Well, there we go. That was the conversation. I think he was saying he thought he was on it, and it wasn't quite to be. The 2 of them having a discussion about what almost was, but not quite.
Well, and sometimes the climbers are just kind of confused about what they might have done wrong. Yeah. So it's really interesting for them to talk with someone else and say, hey, how far did you get? What did you do on that hold? And sometimes everyone says, I don't know the way to do it. I fell the exact same place, right?
All right, Melody, Sarah watching on YouTube. This is your moment. I'm expecting many comments here. This is Melody watching, who is Sam's mum, which is brilliant when this happens. So, Melody, full cheering, please. And tell me a little bit about Sam.
Sam, has really been quickly developing too. Of course, people are very excited about Keenan, but Sam continues to improve his performances at the international level, and he's also a big contributor at the Ice Coop in Boulder. So he's got this administrative role for the community, and I think that while Keenan has made the finals before, I don't think Sam has. So, of course, Sam's mom and everybody on Team USA is rooting for Sam to make it to the next stage.
Absolutely. Well, he's got to get through this tricky mantle first of all. Reaching up, just wraps the edge of the axe. It's only the edge of it on that, though. He's got to be careful here.
Now, while the teeth are a little bit farther back on the pick, there's usually this curved surface, so they want to be sure they're hitting that just right. Oh,
no, Sam, it wasn't quite right. This route is a savage one here this afternoon.
And it's worth noting that while in the qualifiers, if someone falls beneath the first clip, they get a second chance. That's not true in the semis. So that's just another reason to move a little bit slowly. I think Sam likes moving fast. As climbers, part of the fun is moving fast, but doesn't always work out.
Yeah, Melody's just pointing out this is his second semi-final in World Cups, but so sad to see him go early on in the comp. Oh, we had all the hype, didn't we? We had Sam's mum on and everything. Sam, unlucky out there, but you did your country and everyone proud.
And I know Sam has been in the semis before. I guess my point is I don't think Sam had made the finals before, so we were all hoping he might make the finals today.
Exactly right. Well, let's watch this again. He had the sample locked in, just fired out left.
You can see that his force was shifting there a little bit. So part of what the challenge here is, okay, you can hit the hold and be there one moment, but just like Keenan, as you shift forces and shift your weight, not necessarily there forever.
All right, let's listen in on this, shall we?
Yeah, I felt it, moved around a little bit. I was like, maybe I'm okay. And then, did you pop? I got to the stone hole there before the big dyno. Oh, that's good. That's pumped out, dude. Yeah, I felt like was not really there, but then I pumped out so badly. But it's really weird, huh? Like, after me, everybody's pumping. Were you like second or first? I was first. You were first. Everyone's popped low. Yeah, like everyone popped on the stone hole before, like where Keenan fell as well. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's fucked. Yeah. I mean.
Well, there we go. Everyone's popped low was the phrase that I heard there the most. It's true. It's been hard for the athletes, but the gentleman out next, Tristan Ladevant, is, well, I mean, a bit of a legend, right?
That's right. Yep, he's almost just used to being on the podium a little bit, or at least being in the finals. He's done this many times. It'll be interesting to hear see how some of these veterans handle it. We've got the Team USA athletes giving hugs, and everyone's happy to be here. You say it doesn't really matter whether you win or lose, but there's a reason why they have points and rankings and everything, right? It hurts a little bit to fall so quickly, and it's just fun to climb a little bit longer, right? So it's hard, but yeah, those hugs from the teammates make a big difference.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you say it's everyone's having fun. I'd want to win if I was an athlete out there. So I know what you mean, but man, it must sting a little bit. All right, well, that's the route, and we haven't seen many people get above that 6. Patrick way out in front at the moment, as you can see from the leaderboard, on 18. Then Keenan after that, but yeah, low falls and a quick semi-final so far as we near athlete number 6 out. And there is Tristan Ladevant, his brother Louna Ladevant, who won last week in Chamonix, will be climbing 3rd from last, but right now all eyes are on Tristan. And these guys, these brothers, I was chatting to them in ISO last week, and I was saying, look, when you tell me you haven't trained, what does that actually mean? He was like, well, we've done 7 sessions, which is not that much, but they are still obviously, training hard in the gym.
They are absolutely top-notch rock climbers, too, as well. So, I'm curious how the rock climbing sessions were counted there. And, when you can climb, 8s and 9 in the French system or 14s or whatever, then you might not need to train as hard as somebody who's not quite as accomplished in the rock climbing world.
That is a very good point. Yeah, exactly. Well, whatever they have or haven't been doing, they're still performing. They're in the semis, and I'll be gunning for gold here later on. So takes off the double down layer, DD, I like to call it.
And part of what's fun is seeing, how these masters and champions handle these things. I know last year in Saas-Fee, there was a hold in semis that, I don't know, I feel like it knocked off just about half of the other climbers. And I remember Tristan just flying through it with power and grace. So it'll be exciting to see how he handles these holds. Absolutely.
All right, Tristan, what can you do? He's taking a long moment at the bottom, gives a nod to the belay, and off he goes. He'll know something's up. He's in isolation. Of course, he can't see it, but he'll be aware that he's gone through these athletes a lot quicker, so he'll know there might be an issue somewhere.
That's a great point, Matt. Yeah, not only can you hear a little bit of the cheer or the oohs and ahs from the crowd, but also, as an athlete, you're really trying to time your warm-ups and your preparation. And so whenever the athletes are coming just, minutes from each other, then you know that they're falling early.
Oh, well, he's stretching up almost. Oh, he's missed it the first time. Got a little bit extra reach that second. Locked in that left pick.
Now you can see he's a little bit higher there. He's not on the end of that pick where it's a little more curved and there aren't the teeth. But I'm guessing Tristan's going to be able to manage just fine. But he's being delicate.
Yeah, he is being delicate, working his way up.
There's the rock climbing background. He just used the under with his hand. No problem.
All right, so Tristan is in. Now kicks those feet. Big reach up towards the rock. Locks in that left pick. Making sure of it. But the next sequence we know that's coming up is the tricky one. So no problem on this resin hold. It's the next few holds that are the problem.
You can see he's not moving too quickly. He knows that some of this stuff has spit the other climbers off. So he's taking his time.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Well, creeping his way up, having a little peer at the hold he's already on, into this stone that I just think looks awful. Every time I see the close-up, I sort of shiver.
Sure. But no one's popped off that one yet, right? Some of the other holds are a little bit worse. So here's the worst one probably, right?
Well, he's committing like Sam did.
And he's weighting it, he's wiggling it, right? He wants to be sure about that. He might have it just in the right spot, but you can see he's having a look. He's really wanting to be sure before he moves through it.
Yeah, well, he's obviously confident on it now. He checked it, made sure, and now he moves on. But that's another big stretch. But he's through that worrying hold. And that means we might get to see the rest of this route now after a couple of early falls. And there's the rest of the athletes who'll be wondering what on earth Tristan did differently. Because he matched it as well.
Well, and they're also wanting to learn, right? I know some of the athletes, as soon as they get off, they realize that these folks have something to teach them. So they're trying to learn something from the best.
Yeah, sure, there's levels to this game. And these two brothers, well, one brother at the moment, will be able to show us. Right, leaning backwards, locking in a Steinpull. And you can see how overhanging this wall is. That slabby bit his feet are on almost dropped underneath the wall. Got to be a bit careful with the feet, as we discussed earlier, though.
And you can see Tristan's in second already, right? Only Patrick has made it this far.
All right, well, he's going to near these big moves coming up.
And you got the photographers leaning over for great shots. You can hear the crowd starting to get a little louder, right? And he's still got some time, but he's been taking it a little bit slowly. So let's wait and see how he does with this dynamic move. As long as he reaches it.
Absolutely. Well, he's got to push on now. 2 minutes 40 on the clock. And if you don't know the rules for this, the athletes have to clip all of the quick draws in sequence, in order. You can climb past them, but not too far, but you have to clip them all, as you can see him doing now. Finds the holes with the right axe.
And you can see, too, that it's really an accomplishment to make it on the wall, with even less than a minute, right, before falling. So it... when you see the others climb, you just get this respect for those folks who may have fallen off, but they fell off for 15 seconds, a little higher on the route. Tristan's a little bit longer than Patrick is, so we'll see if he can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, well, this is the big stretch. Tristan makes it look pretty simple, to be honest. Yeah, Patrick struggled a little with the feet on that. Much better from Tristan, right. And now we get this move, and I'm still fascinated by this next move. Is he going to reach up with the fingers and jump with the axe? We haven't seen anyone get through it yet. Only Patrick's got this far.
Right. And it's important to remember, too, right, that for this stage, all you need to do is be in the top 8. Mm-hmm. So I believe that, as a very intelligent climber, Tristan realizes that, okay, many of these climbers fell low. I don't have to, finish number 1 in order to make it. to the finals, all he has to do is climb as well as possible, smoothly, and he's got a great chance already.
Sets himself for the dyno, hits it and gets it pretty easily from Tristan. Good work.
He makes it look pretty easy, right? And that's something that you notice with these French climbers in general, but especially the Ladevant brothers.
Yeah, and remember, it isn't. When I say it looks easy, I'm aware how hard it actually is. It's nightmarish stuff. People have been asking me, by the way, about grades on this, and I did ask in terms of the D grade what it is, and although it's almost impossible to answer that question, at least above D12, if that makes sense for you people out there.
Well, I feel like I heard it said at some point, there's only one grade in competition, and that's competition grade.
Yes.
But typically what the route setters are trying to do is to make it a little more challenging. Wow.
So Tristan pinged off that. Luckily, he had a good right axe that saved him, but that Stein, not as good as it looks. I think he needs to get a bit higher, and now he is.
Look at that control, though. That's really phenomenal.
Again, he loses it. Not loving this. It's floating as well, and this time he goes. The route set has turned this thing up to like 1,000 degrees on this route. This is tough.
Absolutely. And I guess my point is that they really want it to be more and more difficult as you get higher, right? So some of those moves lower down, in general, are maybe not quite as difficult. But yeah, this is a really challenging route that's been set.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it's also important to note that while these are world-class climbers, they're the world's best, what the route setters are trying to do is to make it so difficult so that they separate the competition, because you really don't want all of the climbers falling in the same place in order to separate everyone for the finals.
Yeah, agreed. Separation is key. And if you get one top and everyone else is separated a little bit, they will have done their job well.
He was going from one of those stone holds, which are rather slippery and delicate, and again, no one had made it that high yet. So even with just the few climbers that are in semis, they're wearing on those stone holds a little bit. It's getting a little bit easier, a little bit more chiseled out. He's the only one on that stone hold. He needed to lock off, get his feet high, and then hit this under. And it'll be interesting to see how his brother does, as well as the other climbers.
Absolutely. Well, Tristan bites that axe. This was down low. That was the jump. Well done. Palm on the box to stop himself.
So much fun. That's the sort of thing where, yeah, of course it happens in rock climbing and ice climbing outside, but in general, you're not doing too many dyno moves.
Well, let's see this. I mean, height is key on this, of course, but he tried to make it float. Initially, he tried to get the cheeks in. And let's listen to this a sec.
There is like a kind of flat sloper, so I ate this, and when I matched, I was inside a very good one. So I think you were not in the hole to take that there. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Confirmation.
I felt good, it was very still, but then just like...
Yeah, and the first one, what the...
Yeah.
No? Far away, no?
It was so far. I think we could have grabbed, but like, it's still really far.
Yeah, and like the first one is not like... Okay.
Yeah, so they're saying these aren't huge holds, right? And Tristan hit the stone hold that Keenan popped off on very similarly. He moved the picks around a little bit more. He was maybe just a little more delicate or thoughtful about that. Spent a little more time there. Keenan felt good and moved through it, but they hit it the same way, and fortunately for Tristan, he was able to move through it.
Yeah, I think Tristan said that there was a better part, 'cause he said, I found a good hold, like a good part of it. So I think that Keenan maybe just thought he was in it, but wasn't quite, and there's a deeper part.
And if you recall, Tristan really stuck his head up there and had a look. And I think that he actually hit it in 3 different positions. I'm not sure if Keenan stayed in the first position that he had initially landed on the hold. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how climbers can do things very similarly with different results.
All right, our next athlete is out. And while we wait for them, a reminder that you can follow the UIAA Ice Climbing Instagram account. It's a good one. There's lots of cool pictures up there, some video footage. So go and follow that for all things ice climbing, if you haven't already. And, of course, Daniel next to me. If you want to find his Instagram, you can find it on my channel, and we'll put it up on screen later on. Okay, next athlete out, Hyeongsub from Korea. And the Korean team, I mean, there's so many legends in that Korean team. There's certainly ones to look out to and up to.
It's a very popular sport in Korea. They have an extremely large alpine federation, and we might see these Korean climbers, climb just a little bit differently than the Europeans or the Americans.
Yeah, there's certainly a different style, isn't there? People talk about, Cheongsong and what that style is like. It's different from Saas-Fee style. So, yeah, everyone has to adapt their style to the wall.
And there could even be different tools, right? There are Korean makers of tools. There are the European makers of the tools, American makers of the tools. So sometimes even the tools can be advantageous. But yeah, they're usually really fun to watch for me because it's a little more exotic of a style that's very effective. They perform very well at the international level.
Yeah, well, this is the move, though. His face pressed against. He doesn't like the look of it. He's coming back down to reset these axes.
And you heard Tristan say that this was a really long move, but...
Well, he's going the other way. He's trying to wrap it the other direction. Fair enough. So he went with the left axe on.
Case in point, right?
Yeah.
All the other athletes had hit it from the right. It might not seem like much, but sometimes those are big differences.
Yeah, he tries to go for the hand. Now, we've seen that this hold can cause problems. It looks really good when it's locked in, but you've got to be careful. Melody Serra is enjoying us listening to the athletes after the competition. That's good. Well, we'll keep being quiet then for a couple of seconds while we listen to them. All right, so Hyeongsub Lim, we should call him Lim, really. That's his first name. Up he comes into the rock and looking a little shaky, not 100% comfortable right now.
Well, remember, he knows that folks have fallen early, and he may be. I'm not sure if I've seen him climb at Saas-Fee before. So he's taking his time with these stone holds, and he's already doing really well. So let's hope he continues.
Yeah, he's working it out as he goes. Well, he matches this axe, a little micro shakeout before upgrading the feet.
And even the wood is a little bit different at the different facilities, right? The Korean wood had a lot of give to it, and some athletes talked about kind of popping out for that reason. So he's still kind of feeling this out.
Yeah, well, here we go. This is the first lower crux. Let's see what he can do here. Up he goes to the first of the stone holes, working out how to use this. You've got to twist that axe now and then lay back it like he's doing. Make that clip. All right, here we go. I'm so nervous about this hold now. The thing is, the problem is now we know where the good bit is, but we know the athletes don't know, so we're going to know when they get it wrong.
Yep, they're still onside-ing it. Okay, and he's hitting it.
No.
Oh, but he managed to hold on. That's wonderful. Okay, he's giving himself another chance.
Yeah, but he's not in it at the moment. He goes high. He's feeling around. That's the screw hold. That's not the place you want to be, really. I mean, it might work, but he's literally on the screw. Oh, hold your breath. This is a huge move. Don't touch it. You might knock it off. This is really on the edge of falling here. Full commitment. I think he could be in trouble the second he tries to move out to the right here. He's feeling around. He wants a better bit. He knows he's in a bad, but he's in the screw hole.
Can you feel the suspense? Everyone's watching.
Yeah, I am. Oh, goodness me. Well,
he's doing well. He's doing well. Oh, he's even shaking out on it.
I mean, hey, if it works, eh? But
he's maintaining that force going to the side, which I think is really important. But now he realizes it's not just a matter of a sketchy hold. He also has to go with a really long reach.
Yeah, he could be in trouble here. It might work for him, though. You never know. Gets the feet in a better position. He's looking for almost a jump. I can't believe he's made it work, but he does.
I'm not sure about his height, but he looks rather long. And, wow, he stayed in first position. Patrick had changed. I'm sorry, he stayed in short position. Patrick had changed to long. And he's moving right along.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, he's hanging on now. It takes a moment to shake out after. He will have no idea the heartache he's just caused me in the commentary box. I'll have to go and charge him my doctor's bill later on. All right, Lim makes his way upwards again after that hesitation, but it has cost him a bit of time. Only 2 minutes left on the clock now.
Well, but I think it's also important to remember about half the climbers have already fallen by now. So with that hold that we're, very suspense. Watching with suspense, that might be the difference between finals and going home.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's been low falls throughout. Wow, he's in again. How is Lim still going on? Now, look at that box on the right. It's not a solid structure that it moves around and swings, and it replaces the ice barrels that we had in other competitions.
Right, it's hard enough whenever the wall's fixed, but then when you've got the wiggle that you're seeing, of course it's designed to make it just a little more challenging and fun to watch.
Yes, as if they didn't need enough challenge already. Well, he's low on the traverse. Now it rises upwards towards the right, but only 1:15 on the clock. He's not going to finish the route in that time, but he is currently easily in the finals in third.
Well, we say that, right? But of course, we've got some really strong climbers ahead of us. I believe we've got, about 7 or 8 left. So in principle, he doesn't have it secured quite yet.
No, he would have wanted to climb a bit faster, get a bit higher on this. He's going to leave himself in a shaky position. We'll see. 48 seconds to go into the hole. And you were saying it's a bit longer. I think you're right. And, a big scream then from him. He needs to lock this off. I think he's pumped out of his brain right now.
Well, he also knows he doesn't have that much more time left. So, yeah, he's pumped. But he also just wants to get every additional hole that he can while he's got time.
Yeah, well, he's pulling the rope out. Aiming up high. 22 seconds left. And while we talk about time here, that time can be a little bit off because it comes in a sort of roundabout way from the judges. So if it times out on your screen, they might carry on climbing for a couple of seconds longer. All right, he's into this move, and this move is going to take a while to figure out. He's speeding through. He knows he hasn't got long.
Oh, and just for the sake of fun, he's just tempted to go for it, I'm sure.
He has been timed out now. He'll want to make this clip just for safety reasons. I would, for sure.
It'll be interesting to see if he's tied with Patrick by reaching that medal hold there, or exactly where he compares.
He tried to make that clip, can't get it, drops back down, and Lim with a big That describes it correctly. What a fight from Lim. Now, someone was asking about the wall. Melody was asking whether you can climb on it on Sunday.
Typically, yes. I'm looking forward to doing that unless something changes, of course.
When you say something changes, you mean the party afterwards, right? Because
well, yeah, it's a challenge for some climbers to crawl and get themselves out of bed too. But it's not always open. Each facility is not always open on Sunday. But from my experience, I've climbed on those Sundays and had a lot of fun.
Okay, well there we go. That answers your question, Melody. Oh, well, Lim, he had a bit of a crazy competition last night in the speed as well, with lots of falls on his way to finally getting a time. So he's had a dramatic 2 days, that man.
Sure, and I don't know. I'm guessing that he's pretty happy because he knows that he stayed on a little bit longer than some of those earlier athletes. But I think as soon as he speaks with his teammates, he's going to have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was him on that. I cannot believe he made this work.
Now, if he would have fallen there, he might not have had the chance that he does for semifinals, but that's a great sign of an outstanding climber to be able to slip and slide around a little bit, but still maintain contact like we saw with Tristan Ladevant.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he did well from there. He got timed out after this. Made that match. You could see how much he was trying to rush and get through it, but couldn't quite make it. Let's listen in on this. Now, I know what this is about, actually, so just to give you some context to this conversation, he got lost on the way from isolation to the arena, went the wrong direction, so the judge is just pointing out to him that there is a different way to go.
Well, that's a relief for me, right, Guy? I wasn't so sure. I was worried that maybe there was some technical incident along the way that would have changed his score. So
I hope not. But yes, I got a message just before he came in saying the climber got lost. So that's what that was about. See, I told you it was possible. I told you I got lost here. It's very doable.
He might not be quite as familiar with the facility compared to Patrick Inderbitzin, for instance.
I'm very familiar with the facility. I continuously get lost. There's your Instagram down on the screen. So if you've got any questions about USA ice climbing or just general, drop him a message and make sure you give him a follow while you're about it, please.
Thanks, Matt.
There we go, mate. Right. Halfway through already. Javier Blázquez from Spain is out. Second Spanish athlete to compete here this afternoon. Just reminding himself of the route. Melody is saying on the chat, that was a nail-biter from Lim. Yes, it was a nail-biter, wasn't it? Terrifying moments here. And we have to watch 8 more athletes go through that moment.
Right. Yeah, it's just so fun to watch Lim adapt and, kind of take his time and figure it out. And, hopefully he'll get a chance to climb in the next round, too, in the finals.
Well, the DJ has just dropped a tingling tune in the background here. There's a bit of sandstorm going on there. So let's see. That inspires him on. Javier with some interesting tools. I'm trying to figure out what they are. That's really cool. Very thin as well.
We've got a question from Ralph about falling and dropping the tools. You know, from my experience climbing outside so much, you really don't want to drop those tools. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody intentionally drop the tools, both because they're expensive, as well as for safety regarding your belayer. And, you know, then, of course, when you're climbing outside, you might end up losing those things if you just, you know, start throwing them around and dropping them. So, yeah, most of the climbers are going to hold on to those tools as long as they're not so pumped that they lose grip.
See, well, Javier made that mantle move look easy, stretching up, finding some extra inches there.
I believe he's another extremely strong rock climber.
Yeah, it's that lock-off power, isn't it? You can sometimes see it in certain athletes. Has the Steinpull now. Changes the feet, stands up a little taller.
Changes to first for the reach.
Oh, he's making a match here, okay.
Wants to be sure that he's got a good placement.
Yeah, you don't want to overthink it though, do you? And I think, yeah, that was a bit of overthinking. You just try to maybe do one too many moves.
Well, but he also matched the tools so that when he popped with that left, he had the right in a very, very strategic position so that he could hang on.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so he's through that little moment down low. Won't have affected him too much. These things happen. Up he goes towards the next stone hold. And then, oh, he's got that left crampon stuck. Oh, a big wiggle to get that out.
Yeah, you know, you want to kick in hard so that the foot doesn't pop, but you also don't want to wiggle too much. I've seen climbers wiggle their feet out and then pop on the hold because of it.
Yeah, he's thinking about a high clip there and then decided not to, and now makes the clip. It's got a bit more reach on it. Well, here we go, everyone. This is nearing the moment. Problem is, I get nervous about these moments, and then, you know, everyone else will just sort of cruise through, and it won't be a problem. But I know what's coming here.
You're not the only one. I think everyone in the audience is feeling the same way. Okay. It's maybe it's contagious even.
That's good. I've got sweaty fingers here in the commentary box. So here we go. See if he can cruise through like Tristan did, or he's going to do a limb.
As you can see, he's working his hands up to get the height.
Oh, he's gone high on it. Oh dear. Okay.
I believe everyone. Well, no, maybe Patrick hit it high and was able to move through. Yeah.
Well, we know it can work. I mean, there's grooves in there. It can definitely work. And look, easy. It is working. Oh, he's making a clip off this as well. Wow.
It's easy to wiggle off and pop while clipping, right? There's a lot of different forces and movement there, but he's doing great.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think he's got the sweet spot on that. Okay, fine. No problems. Rick's the wrap. Good work. And their danger area passed for Javier. If he can... Oh, I say that.
Well, and just by touching the hold there, he's already earned more points than the folks who have popped without touching that hold. So hopefully this is a good sign for him, and he'll keep making progress and also give the other climbers who have moved through this a run for their money.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the scoring system changing this year from last year. All right, upgrades the feet. Into the first of the big Steinpulls using the real rock.
And I guess that for the audience, one of the big changes this year is that in the past, the climbers would get points related to the clips, and now the clips are not involved, and it's just a matter of which holds are being used.
Yeah, okay, so he's reaches across, couldn't get it the first time, gets it the second, making sure of these kicks here. That left axe kind of stuck in underneath. Now he's got it free, but he falls as he did that.
Great example of you know, his little bit of wiggle and movement there on the left leading to popping with this tool on the right. But he's happy. I believe that he knows that he lasted a little bit longer than some of those climbers, and at this point with his moving through that tricky hold, he's got a great chance for finals.
We were talking earlier about separation. So far, I think the setters have done a pretty good job at the moment, because although we did see a few fall in the same place, everyone is falling in different moments, and that's kind of what we'd like to see.
And it's a challenge, right? These route setters deserve an outstanding amount of credit for all the time and effort they put into these routes. And, you know, they want to make it interesting. They want to make it difficult while also getting that separation. And you're right, we are getting the separation here. And there's every reason to believe that while all of the climbers have been in ISO and nobody has seen the other climbers climb, you know, as we proceed with the order, the climbers are in principle stronger and stronger. So there's every reason to believe that we'll see more and more progress as more climbers move on.
Yeah, exactly. They can qualify in the opposite order. Just listening to see if he's saying anything. He's not yet. So, yeah, the ones out last would have qualified in first, and then theoretically on paper, they are the stronger athlete. But let's see where it came undone. He just got that left axe kind of stuck. And as you said, one too many wiggles. Let's have a look. So it's got stuck. Oh, no, it was the right that went. So maybe just unweighting it a bit?
Well, he essentially changed the force that he was applying on his right with his wiggles in the left. He did a great job of moving his feet over, but, you know, one of the ways that we help maintain that force as we move through is with tension. And we saw just an outstanding display of control earlier on, but, you know, he turned his head. And sometimes when we move our eyes someplace, we change what we're doing. And at the same time, it might not really matter for him as long as he makes the finals.
That's very true. There's a lot of people talking about strong teeth on the chat. Something I never actually thought about. Yeah, you have, I suppose, got to have fairly strong teeth in this. You don't want to have rotten teeth biting onto those ice axes. So that's an example. Brush your teeth, kids, if you're watching, and you'll be a pro ice climber. All right, Lee is underway. Athlete number 9 out. So more than halfway through this men's semi-final. And remember, we're looking for just 8 athletes.
Now, I believe that I trained at Lee's gym in Korea. You know, it's always fun to train at the different facilities. And wow, I was just really impressed with the facility. And, of course, it only helps for climbers to have their...
Oh, that was hugely risky. Sorry to interrupt you, but he went for the kind of pop rather than stretching for it. And that... Oh, I mean, you're popping up to a metal hold. That's risky.
Well, you said it. Well, it didn't work out for him, and of course he's a little disappointed. But I'm guessing we're going to see more of him as well. And he's a strong climber, you know, like that must have worked for him other times, but didn't work for him today.
Exactly. Well, he went for the risky pop. I think he'll go back and watch that live stream and understand it. I mean, he knows it was a mistake in there. He's smiling to his friend there at the bottom. Yeah, that was really... So you were saying about his gym. So you were training there, and a good facility?
Yeah, outstanding facility. I actually trained with the youngest member of the Korean team there. And, you know, some of the climbers who have trained there, I believe, have beaten Adamandra in climbing competitions.
Wow.
You know, with the rock climbing. So there's both the rock climbing holds as well as the ice climbing.
I mean, I've heard Adam's a bit weak anyway, so it's fair enough. Easy day's work, that one. All right, don't tell Adam, please.
Right.
Right, Nathan Clair is out for France.
Now, talk about a strong climber. This is one of the strongest climbers I've ever seen. He just makes things look really easy, and it almost feels like he knows he's strong. He knows he doesn't necessarily have to do it the same way as everybody else. But it'll be really interesting with his size and strength to see how he hits some of these holds.
It is. He's got a big smile on his face. He's relishing this opportunity. See what he can do here. Speedy through the ice, but this mantle move is coming. We've just seen someone fall off it, so let's see what he does. But you said very strong, so expecting... Oh, he's going hands on it. Interesting.
He's a veteran, too, right? He's climbed at Saas-Fee so many times. That not only helps in terms of the actual experience, but also in terms of just some confidence. It can bite climbers, too, if they're moving a little bit too quickly. But, yeah, he's such a strong rock climber and really fun to watch.
As you can see here, he's fully using his hands. Fair play. All right, well, he's got to use tools at some point. And that left axe now in play, makes the clip. And, yeah, as you said, totally different style of climbing here.
He's just got almost like an American football player's frame or something with really broad shoulders, you know, really long. And I'm always impressed with seeing how he climbs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see in this next section, because the next section is less about strength and more about technique. So here we go again, eh? Up he goes.
Now, I just want to make it clear, it was Matt that said that about Adam Andra. You know, Andra's actually from Brno, where one of the European Cups has been traditionally held. So, you know, I've only I've only got the best things to say about Andra, and of course, we know that Matt was just joking.
Oh, was I? I mean, we'll never know. That's all right, I'll take the heat for Andra. Right, Nathan wiggles that axe in. That is the good placement. He is on it. That sinks into the hole there.
He's an outstanding dry tooler on the rock, and you just have to wonder, too, if somehow his extensive dry tooling experience helps him read those metal holds and find the best place.
I think you're right. I mean, it's instinct as well with this, and he had great instincts then, found it immediately. I tell you what, that's a bad wrap. Drops in. Good work from Nathan Clair. Wants to go towards that finals place. He's in 5th at the moment.
And you can hear the crowd getting louder. You can even see people running around. They realize that he's got a great chance to move higher on the route, and people want to see him do it.
They do, right. Up he goes, makes the next clip. This is a good performance from Nathan Clair so far.
He's remembering his breathing. Great footwork.
And quick as well. Only 3.5 minutes. Sorry, 3.5 minutes left.
He's got a really strong lock off with his strength.
Goes for the next wrap. That's all he's on though. Look how small that one is. A little metal thing.
You have to wonder too how many folks from France are here cheering Nathan on, not just his teammates but family and friends as well.
Yeah, for sure. We're close to the French border here. I drove over from France. It's very possible, so you're right. It's almost like a second home crowd. But look, he's now having some problems. That pull is a tricky one. He needs to get his body weight to the right. Hooks the axe over his shoulder, and I think he's made it okay. It's impressive stuff here.
Oh, yes. I believe Nathan's an outstanding DTS specialist where, they're really using their feet quite a bit.
You're going to have to explain DTS because that's not using fig 4s and 9s and stuff.
That's right. It's a little bit of the French style to not use the figure 4s and instead use their feet and body tension quite a bit. And you can just, if it's not obvious, it takes a lot of body tension, a lot of strength to traverse over and to keep that tension, which keeps the tool in its place.
Absolutely. All right. Oh, Nathan Clair has done well. 2 minutes 10 on the clock. Plenty of time. But a cruxy move to come. Now, he cruised the lower mantle.
You can almost see that he's wanting to move quickly while also checking himself to be sure that he's not blowing himself off of these holds.
Yeah, he needs to change his feet here, which he now does. It's just a bit low. That's much better. Sinks into it.
Now, I believe Nathan has a great shot as long as he keeps moving here. He's got a great shot of pulling off this dynamic move. And it'll be really fun to see how he does it. Goes straight into the rock hold with his hand.
Oh, he knows exactly what to do.
Doesn't hesitate for even a split second and moves very gracefully upward.
This is an amazing run from this man here. There wasn't a moment where he hesitated. You're right. Just straight on with the hand, straight into the jump. Awesome.
And if you're confident and strong enough, you really want to just keep moving. If you stop and rest and shift your weight around, it's only making things more challenging. But this is the place where Tristan popped.
Yeah, this is it. He's got that Stein locked in, though. The cheeks pressing against the wall. Much better.
I just have to wonder if the tool is the difference. I feel like Tristan tried a Stein. It didn't work. He tried the under. That didn't work either. But Nathan just moved right through it.
All right, well, he's our new leader at the moment with 22. Remember, 28 is the points available for this, so he's coming close to a top now.
And there's this urgency, right? He's got just over 30 seconds. He's got a feeling that he's doing well, but he also knows that some very strong climbers are coming after him.
Well, interestingly, he's now on the sequence the setters told me was the crux. So it just blows my mind a bit, that one, considering what we've watched. But yeah, this is the hard bit, apparently. Slippy volumes, and they're expecting to lose people here.
And this is getting more and more overhung as he proceeds. So you can see that he's really being thoughtful about kicking in with his feet to make sure they're helping.
And things are savagely overhanging here, almost a roof-style section coming up.
Now, he did touch that hold, I believe, but he is out of time, and he's got a smile. I think he knows he climbed really well, and of course, looks like he had a lot of fun.
He did indeed. Well, everyone watching, I just want to shout someone out who's watching, which is Climbing Gems, who are from Australia, and she actually gave me an amazing Top Gun chalk bag the other day. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that she works with Petra Klingler for her charity, and a very amazing woman. So thank you, Climbing Gems, for joining us on the ice climbing circuit as well. Hope you're well. So that was a great performance. Number one top spot from him, and a big smile on his face. He knows he's done well. I think he's going to enjoy that route, not only the rest of the day, because I think it's going to earn him a spot in the finals, but I think he's going to be able to bask in that route for many years to come. I agree with you. All right. Well, we will listen Let's hear if he says anything as he waves goodbye. Grabs a massive bag. It's enormous, that thing. And let's hear the setter's certainly happy.
Well, you can see he was breathing a little bit, there. As easy as he made it look, obviously there was a lot of effort involved and a lot of energy expended.
Yeah, well, let's see this. This was someone was saying he might have got a knee bar in there. I see what you mean. He almost did, but not quite. This was the traverse over towards the right. Had that wrap in well. And then that move just was so impressive. There wasn't just a moment where he even considered it. He just went for it.
He pulled the tool off with his left, already had his right hand on the rock, of course, and sprung with his legs so that it was as efficient as possible, giving him energy to keep moving on.
Okay, well, the French team can have their conversation. We'll have Mr. Benjamin Bosshard out from Switzerland. Now, we interviewed him the other day and we were asking him questions about whether he felt the pressure in this environment, and he wouldn't really be drawn on it. He was trying to say, no, it's just another kind of competition. But you've got to feel different. I mean, look at that crowd that's stacking up there. He knows how much they want him to win this thing.
Yeah, but look at that face. I mean, he is as cool as it gets. And, he is not the oldest competitor around, too. So it's really impressive that he maintains such composure. It is relevant that this is his home facility. So he's climbed here many times, trained here many times, and hopefully that home crowd works to his advantage.
Absolutely right. He's underway. He's climbing, moves away from the ice now, onto the metal. Confident stuff so far.
I believe he landed on the podium last year after making the finals. And so he's got a great chance to do well today, but as we've seen, every hold is a challenge for these climbers, and we've seen many climbers pop early, so it's never a sure thing.
Yeah, I thought for a second he was setting himself up for a jump here, and he still might be,
Well, he's definitely pulled some dynamic moves here in the past.
Oh, he is going... Oh, no, it's gone wrong for Benjamin Bosshard. He went for the pop. I thought he got it, but it slipped. And he can't believe that himself. Oh.
Well, you've got a feel for him there. Sometimes moving quickly like Benjamin often does and being able to make those dynamic moves, leads them to climb a little bit quickly, but there's nothing to be said. Benjamin's a great climber. We're going to see more of him in the future. He's a great person, and, he's not the only one.
No, exactly. This route is a brutal one. It destroys hopes and dreams, it turns out. Benjamin Bosshard comes down. He will not be in the finals. Wow, and we only have 5 athletes remaining here. It's been a quick broadcast, but what a comp, eh? Chat, what are you thinking of this? I know there's a lot of people who are up and down in emotion. Suddenly you're kind of cheering someone on, and the next second you're heartbroken for them. But it's fascinating. I'm enjoying it.
Sure, and we are getting that separation. It remains to be seen where exactly that stone hold will fit in regarding the climbers who are moving on to finals and those not. And sometimes it's just a matter of whether they were able to contact the next hold or even touch that hold at all. And we might see that some folks are able to move on even after popping off that difficult stone hold.
Well, agreed. Well, your heart goes out to Benjamin Bosshard, who breathes a sigh out of his cheeks, cracks that helmet back on because he have to wear it in the area. And, Jan Havel's saying must be frustrating to fall so low. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, these athletes train so hard to be in this position. It's not ideal. It's not what they would have wanted.
Well, the good news, too, is that there are additional competitions this season. Mm-hmm. We've got a couple more Continental Opens, and then, of course, the World Championships in Canada in February. So, it's almost like a basketball player like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan missing a game-winning shot. They've got to dust themselves off and be willing to get back at it again.
Excellent analogy there. Okay, Kim Min-cheol is up next from Korea. Has a long look up at that wall.
So I believe that those climbers who have reached the hold, which has popped many of them off, are still in a position to move on. And there's every reason to believe that Kim has a great shot here. He's so strong. And, of course, we saw one of the Korean climbers pop low. We saw one Lim move through that hold. So let's see how Kim does.
Yeah, okay, well, let's find out here. So we are underway here with Kim. And there is a bit of a debate, by the way, going around Lim's run. We watched it earlier on when he looked like he was in the screw hold, and there is some debate about whether, because he's not really allowed to do that, whether he can use it and pull on it like he did. Obviously accidental, but just to let you know, that discussion is underway here at the UIAA.
Yeah, you know, as if the routes aren't challenging enough. With the holds and everything, you really have to be conscientious about not doing something that would jeopardize a technical incident and your strong climb being disqualified.
All right, so Kim climbing his way up. He made the mantle move look okay. Hesitating here a little bit as he goes up towards. Oh, he's wrapping it. Interesting. Is that different? I'm trying to tell.
It's hard to tell from the angle. I believe he's actually using the Stein similar to the others.
He is, yeah. It just was that angle there. Looked a bit strange for a sec. Oh, no, he does fall.
Well, we've seen that happen before.
Yeah, we have. This is a wild semi-final, man.
And I believe that we saw one of the Spanish climbers actually match his second tool after hitting it with the first tool initially, and that actually saved him there. And for Kim, unfortunately, he wasn't quite as lucky as he reached high onto the next hold.
It's got. You just want to go again, hit the reset button, and sort of have another go.
Normally outside, when you're climbing with your friends, you can, or if you're even at your training gym or something like that, right? Have another go, but unfortunately, not here.
Yeah, well, it's all over. I mean, you literally can't look away from this competition. If you do, something dramatic's going to happen. 4 athletes remaining. Jonathan Arthur Brown, Louna Ladevant, Virgile Devin, and Young-geon Lee to come. Just 4 remaining. And wow, big moments here. I thought it was the angle. Let's see it again, because he made this look okay.
Yeah, this is a great shot. Let's see how he hits this.
Yeah, because to me it looked odd, and I can't work out why it looked odd. It just looked in a different position. Maybe not, but it just fired out underneath.
It does appear as though maybe his weight shifted a little bit laterally, and that might have made the difference there. There is a Korean style. Actually, as Americans, we use their word. I might be getting it wrong slightly, but yanga is when you hit the hold from the side compared to straight on. It doesn't look like he really hit it completely from the side, but you're right. I did notice that myself, too.
All right, well, Jonathan Arthur Brown takes a breath out. Last Swiss athlete to compete here for the men.
Yeah, Jonathan had an injury last year, wasn't competing as far as I recall, and performing as well as he is this year. He's been doing really well, and of course, he's got the home court advantage, so to speak, but we saw with Benjamin that does not ensure that the climbers will move on to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen. Do not look away if you're at home. Hold your breath, in fact, because this is proving to be dramatic. Okay, Jonathan Arthur Brown, starting things off. Easily into the left. Needs to make this mantle work, though.
So he's matching there, having a look.
Yeah, here comes the stretch. He's looking comfortable at the moment. Changes that hand. Don't jump. Oh, he might jump. Oh, no.
He's using his right. I feel like we've definitely seen some folks.
He's stretching for it, but he nearly loses that right foot.
Oh, he's maintaining. Ooh, and he prevented himself from barn dooring with a swing there by keeping pressure with his left hand. He hit the hold from the left side, which is not how the majority of climbers have hit it, but he's moving right through these holds. It does seem advantageous to be using your hand on that under. I don't think we've seen anyone fall who's used it that way.
No, I agree with you. It's funny how that works out sometimes, isn't it? All right, he's got a low clip to make here, right down by his hip.
You know, part of the fun with the holds having different materials as well as being able to use your hands is they're really encouraging the climbers to be adaptive and spontaneous. And not only is it fun to watch, but it's also effective.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go into the first of the crux sections, although it turns out there's loads of cruxes on this thing. Up he goes into the rock, turns his body weight over to the right.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the force that he applies perpendicular to that stone surface, and that's what he's trying to maintain while he reaches for this very challenging hold.
Yeah, now this is where Lim had the issue that the UIAA are looking into. He's gone high on it, interesting, and I think that's the worst part of it as well.
Well, you can see he slid out at first, He's got a little better angle on it now. He's having a look. He's taking his time.
Yeah, he's in the right spot now.
He was just shifting that quick draw in the rope around so that it wasn't catching.
Yeah. Well, he's in the good place. He's reversed his grip, so he's obviously feeling confident, but he's going for a huge stretch here. Locks it off, gets the wrap, but it's only just in that wrap.
Now, Johnny's another cool customer. He's got a really calm demeanor, and you could tell he took his time with that hold, and it paid off.
Yeah, it did. Well, smoothly through the bottom crux. Good work. Steinpool time.
You can hear the crowd getting a little bit louder, cheering for Johnny, knowing that he's got a great chance already to move on to finals, but there's still a few climbers left that could bump him off, so he needs to keep making progress, and there's every reason to believe that he's going to give it a good run.
Yeah, upgrades his hands now. Has a look around, peers around the corner, trying to find something. And uses his hands on that undercling as well.
It worked for him before. It's working for him again, it looks like. Onto the moving box. Gets the clip. And it's funny, he's probably trying to get some breaths in while having the tool in his mouth.
All right.
Crowd's really cheering Johnny on. You can tell he's making steady progress. He's not moving too, with any rush or anything like that. But he also, of course, doesn't know exactly how high these other climbers have made it. And every hold counts.
Now, I might be overseeing things, but is his right boot undone there as well? There's a big strap of something hanging off.
You're exactly right. I'm not just mentioning this because I wear Kalen boots and love Kalen as a company, but those boots are oftentimes taped in order to prevent them loosening up. I think it's just the Velcro there, but yeah, that's pretty sagacious for you to notice that.
Oh, well, let's keep a slight half eye on that one as he makes his way forward. It's obviously not really bothering him at the moment.
Okay, this is the really fun dynamic move.
Yeah, this is it. He pauses for a little bit, as you expect.
He's taking a look here. He is hitting it with his hand, which looks like the way to go.
Crowd are behind him. They're telling him it's the right thing to do. Up he goes and holds the swing well.
Nails it. Nails it. Okay, and since Jonathan is in this place, I believe we've got 3 more climbers, and I believe he has secured his place in the finals by making it this far.
Yeah, up into third at the moment. 24 is our current high point. He's got lots of time, a minute left. This is the Steinpool, though. And I think you're right about the tools. I just don't think Tristan's... Oh, no, forget what I said.
You know, there are some tools that have shorter picks that have been developed.
Oh, is he going on... Sorry, he's going on top of it there?
He's having a feel for where he needs to hit it because the first time it didn't work. Oh. I'm not sure that the short and the long pick was the difference for Tristan Ladevant and for Nathan Clair, but the Steins can be much more challenging with shorter picks. Wow, he's being very adaptive here. We haven't seen any climber do this yet.
Well, yeah, he's climbing fully on top of the box here. This is certainly outside of the box. He's skipped the Steinpool move, and now he's standing on top of the box. And from what I understand with the rules, that is allowed. So, yeah, that's well thought through.
Can you tell that Johnny's pretty comfortable in this environment here?
Yeah.
And, of course, the crowd are really happy to see him not only make it through, but to do that with such style.
Yeah, that was certainly interesting. Right, this is the slippy box, though, the slippy, cruxy volume. He's been timed out on our clock. I think he's been timed out full stop. Grabs the draw and comes down.
Well, if he doesn't know it already, he's going to learn very soon that climb earned him a spot in the finals. He's got to be very happy with that. Oh, you can tell he's got the fist, shaking the fist there, and some of his teammates might have already let him know that he's in.
Yeah, that rule change about the box thing has sort of changed a bit in recent years and adapted. We think that's fine to do that. In fact, I had a member of the UIAA peering over my shoulder as we were talking about it, so we think that's all good. So good work from Jonathan Arthur Brown. That was an impressive run from him.
There's a smile from Johnny. You gotta like Johnny smiling, and he's sweating. He earned it.
Yeah, he is breathing hard. Well deserved. So we know he's in the final. 3 athletes to go. Louna Ladevant is out next.
And it'll be really interesting to see how these subsequent climbers take that box.
Yeah.
In particular, he was able to circumvent and move around that hold that spit Tristan Ladevant off. That's really fun. It's really fun to see these climbers so creatively and gracefully do things in different ways.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at this, or hopefully we'll be able to see this move. This was what he didn't like, obviously, came down, and then he switched it up and changed over to the box, which is, as long as he hasn't done an infringement here, which I don't think he has, that is pretty impressive.
Well, and I certainly don't know exactly what Jonathan's thought process was, but sometimes we hit a hold one way, we hit a hold another way, we realize we need to get our feet up. Mm-hmm. And I think as soon as he looked over and realized that he could use this box, he did not look back at that hold that had given others problems.
Yeah, we do think that score has been confirmed, so we think it's all good, but it's a good time to point out that when this broadcast finishes, things can alter, like it did on the women's competition. So if you're watching this, the results we tell you at the end, they can change when we go off air. I'm not saying that's going to happen this time. I'm just saying remember that if you're watching at home.
It's just a short period of time, though. It's maybe 15, 20 minutes max, where there's a little bit of window of time. And that's a really good point for the listeners at home when things can change.
Yeah. Okay, so Louna Ladevant, one of the favourites for sure here this afternoon. He won in Champagny last week. It was incredible to see him. And, I mean, look, I would bet good money on this man making finals, but this route, one of those. Let's see what he can do.
Well, and you know that he's got some confidence here, having won championships in the past, but it's never a sure thing with experience, and every climb's new, right? So climbers have to respect what's going on. You could tell he's being delicate. He's not moving too quickly, and then there's his rock climbing background being demonstrated, and it pays off like it has for the other climbers. He's moving right through that.
Yeah, he's a good rock climber. He's climbed 9A in the past. He competed at the Red Bull Dual Ascent Dam climb a couple of months ago now, so he's a very, very strong rock climber. Right, reverse wrapping that hold.
You can see he's got this flow with his movement where he's able to rhythmically sequence his breaths and clips while moving through these holds, and he's got that grace that we all strive for, too.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Oh, he's through the first couple of sequences here. Has a look at that hold, making sure it's okay. He's matching it pretty aggressively at the moment.
Let's see how much of a look he has.
Oh, he's not on the right bit. Now he is. Oof, that was a moment.
Okay, he's having a look at this one, too, like his brother.
Yeah, he likes the look of it. He went too low the first time.
Wow, and he's got the tool in his hand. He didn't match, but he felt pretty confident after giving a little wiggle there and moves right through it, looks like.
Yeah, so he's easily into this next section, flicks those legs over.
You can see the sideways force on that hold appears to be pretty important for those climbers.
Okay, so into the Steinpull, locks that off.
Shifts his hands to move up, and then, of course, to the right with this traverse.
Well, he hasn't got far to go before he's guaranteed a finals place here. He's in 7th at the moment, only 2 athletes to go. So he's done well. Shows how hard this route really is.
And Louna really typically moves at a very nice clip while also being super smooth. So he's got an excellent shot at a high point here. But we've seen all kinds of climbers pop all over the place. So put your hands in your pockets, keep yourself from biting your nails.
I like that one. I haven't heard that before. That's good. All right, into one of the many holes on this hold. Louna is cruising. 3.5 minutes on the clock for him. Lots of time. There are levels to this game. There really are. And I keep asking people, look, is it just that these guys are so much better, or what is it? But he didn't qualify in first position, so he's human as well. But he's a very talented man, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that he's human. But, again, all these climbers that have fallen early are watching, and they're taking notes because he is certainly a master.
Yeah, now let's see what he does here. He's got that axe in his hand. He wants to go for the jump. He's setting himself up, trying to get the angle, and it reaches. Easy stuff. He's good at those dynos, is Louna.
He is. You can tell his weight was just right. He didn't jump too quickly. He took his time. He also wasn't, too aggressive with it, right? He jumped only as far as he needed in order to hit that hold just right.
Okay, so kicks to the right. Now, this is where we saw Jonathan Arthur Brown climb onto the box. Louna would have read this with his brother. He's obviously going to try the left hold first. I wonder whether he makes a correction if it doesn't work for him. It's fascinating, this. Let's see.
You have to wonder if they have similar tools.
Oh, it pings again. Right, and he has had a little look over towards that box. He is guaranteed a finals place right now in 4th.
He's working his feet up. You saw that. Still not happy about how that tool is being placed on the hold. But he's also got time, and he probably knows that he's got a great shot at moving on to finals as it is, especially if he can just patiently make his way through.
He's not loving this, though. It's a long way above your head. It's slippery. It's overhanging.
I just have to guess that he's got the same tool as his brother, which might not work in that hold the same way as some of the others.
He looked at the box there. Don't know if you saw it. He had his eyes flick over there. Oh, no, he's committing to it. Can't make it work.
See, when the Stein doesn't work, then you need an under, and so he's got to...
Oh, he's going on top.
...work his feet up, but he's trying all of his different options, and part of a great climber's tool belt is some patience to try some things some different ways without losing their placement on the hold.
He keeps looking at that box. I think his instincts are telling him to go for it, but naturally you'd want to go towards the hold because Jonathan broke the beater. I mean, that wasn't intended to get on that box. This is so... How is he still on it? We should just mention he's still hanging on, by the way, on one arm.
Wonderful. The first figure 4, which is a great way to gain height while also keeping a secure placement on the hold.
It's not going to work for him, though, is it? He wiggled it in. Now he's looking at that box again. Remember, the athletes do not see the other climbers go. It's not like he would have gone, oh, there's a different way through, Hat.
And Luna's spot is secure at this point, so this is just fun. We don't really need to be too suspenseful watching in terms of whether or not he moves on.
Well, there is the chief setter who is watching it. Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a close of his eyes. It's hard to read that, man, but that said a lot, that eye blink. 10 seconds. Luna's not going to get through this, I don't think.
He's trying the under.
Oh.
He could pull it off.
Oh. Well, he hated it. He kicks the wall in frustration, but he is in finals, but not on the top spot for Louna Ladevant.
And I guess just behind his brother, it appears. But it's interesting that they're so close.
Yeah, true. All right, well, and we're going to try to listen to this if we can, because I want to hear what Louna has to say. He's obviously not talking to anyone right now, so it was a silly moment to say that. Let's hear now. I think that was his brother talking to him. And yeah, he's so tired, he's literally just flopped down onto the sofa.
Well, for all the climbers, but especially someone of Luna's caliber, not only are they competing against the other climbers, he's also competing against himself. He wanted that hold. Even if someone would have told him he was already in the finals, he still would have spent his last minute trying to get it.
Well, Jan Havel's telling me he spent like a minute and a half on that hold, so it's an incredible time to hang around for. Let's watch a few of his moments from earlier on. This was the double Steins, working his feet over to the box. No problems there. And he made that initial crux look easy. Holding on tight. That was the big jump. Not much hesitation from him in order to get that in. And then this was the Stein pull that gave him so many problems. Eventually he just tried to commit to it and wasn't going to be back down to the ground, but guaranteed final. Okay, so let's give you some stats now. 10 points minimum to qualify for the final, 13 points to guarantee a place. That's what they need to do. And we've got 2 athletes remaining. Virgile is up next, Young-geon Lee after that.
Wow, we've got the top 5 spots dominated by the French and the Swiss here.
It's going to please the crowd, isn't it, later on? The point in the party really kicks off. And if you think the atmosphere is good so far, it all changes. Daniel, got a question for you. Do you ever worry about cutting the rope when you fall off?
Sure, sure. Yeah, the tool can be sliced a little bit with the tools, also with the crampons, and I should mention that that is part of why the heel crampons are prohibited in the competitions for safety purposes. So I think that for someone with experience, someone who's seen a lot of other climbers send routes. It actually does not happen very often at all. And so it's not a huge concern. But yeah, there's all kinds of opportunities for injury and for danger with all of these sharp objects.
Oh, definitely. That's why we love this sport. All right, Virgile is underway. Gets those feet high, using the hands on the stone hold. And he's trying to get as high as possible. Of course, the higher you get the feet, the worse the handhold becomes until you're just pressing down with your fingers on it. But he looks like he's got the height to meet. Careful of the edge of that wall.
I should also mention that these tools are sharp, especially the picks at the end. But there is some breadth, right? There that makes them not as sharp as like a knife, for instance. Mm-hmm. There's some thickness there, so it would actually be quite difficult to slice the ropes with the tools.
There we go. So yeah, it's a dangerous, lethal sport, but we've had not too many accidents so far.
And remember, this is the UIAA. This is a very professional organization. Safety is an outstanding concern, and a lot of the rules have been formulated to protect not only the safety of the athletes, but also the spectators and the judges as well.
Absolutely, but we do occasionally see lots of blood. So, if you're going to watch a sport that's a bit gladiatorial, this might be it for you, if that sells it. All right, so Virgile up towards the resin holds. Penultimate athlete out before we'll say goodbye to you guys watching at home. Into the stone with that right axe.
This is another very strong and also somewhat young climber. He's done very well at many competitions in the past, and super fun to watch.
Okay, he's got the sweet spot straight away.
He's got the strong lock off. He gave the tool a wiggle to make sure it wouldn't just pop. We saw some of the other athletes slide right out of that hold as soon as they made contact.
Yeah, he is good. I'm beginning to wonder whether those lines on top are more for a sort of a setting tool rather than for the climbers.
You're exactly right. They're pulling the holds off when they set the routes and then prepare for like the qualifications, for instance. And those lines oftentimes are points of reference for the setters so they can put them right back in the same position where they want them.
Yeah, I think that tricks a couple of the athletes earlier on. All right, well, Virgin's through it, whatever. The crowd really starting to ramp things up here in the background. You can hear them cheering. Double steins are in, or a side pull kind of stein.
You can see he maintained tension there while he lifted the tool from the left. That popped one of the Spanish athletes earlier.
Mm-hmm. Blue box swinging as he gave it a kick earlier on.
Now, Virgile likes to climb fast, and he's not completely sure about how the other climbers have fared in terms of their scores yet. So while he knows some climbers have popped and he could fall at any moment, he also wants to maintain a good pace and secure a spot in the finals.
Yeah, well, up he goes, kicking in with the feet.
I think it's worth mentioning, too, that as an athlete, it can be very difficult to not top the route and to fall. There's always something to be a little bit disappointed about. But you can tell with the difficulty of these routes, there's also to be a lot to be proud of with every hold that they make on their way to the top, even if they don't reach the top itself.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, here we go into the second half, really, of this route. Into the corner. Big moves to come, including that jump in a couple of seconds. Make sure of the match. That is, you can see in the shot, that is the route, and the scores are on that. That's for the judges to know how to score for the athletes.
Okay, and I believe that since now Virgile's in 7th, he has secured his place in finals already. But let's watch as he hopefully gives this dynamic move a shot here.
Yeah, he's certainly committed. He's put the axe over his shoulder in order to adjust it. Stands up tall, goes for the jump, and he's in. Nicely hooked. That's good work from him.
Wow, look at all those French flags on the screen right now.
Oh, yeah, true.
They had a very strong showing last week in Chamonix at the Continental Open between the World Cups. And if it's not obvious, these French climbers are among the world's best.
They are indeed. Well, he's upgrading the hands. Here we go. This is the time pull, as we'd expect, immediately popping out of it. I wonder what the intended method here is, because it just looks almost impossible. But we saw Tristan get through it. He goes for the Fig 4 now.
I think that was Louna that made... Oh, no. Nathan Clair made his way...
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
...through that.
Yeah. Well, it's looking okay for him. He's got the head pressed in. You've got to trust it. Oh, no, it's gone on him. Well, for a moment, I thought he was going to hold it. He is in the finals, though, but another one spat off by that awkward Stein pull. Wow, well, down he comes. And just like that, in this speedy semi-final, we're coming to our final and last athlete. He's having a little chat to Louna. Just discussing that hold, I'd imagine.
And Virgile had a significant amount of time left, right? He reached there with, I don't know, it seemed like more than a minute and a half left, and he gave it his best shot, and unfortunately, it didn't work for him. But not that it matters. Once you're in the finals, these routes, you got to put these routes behind you, and you're kind of starting from scratch. So it's actually a big relief just to have made it to the finals and to be able to focus on the next task at hand.
I agree. I didn't see that foot stop earlier on. We saw him slide off when he was going for the big wrap. Made it work, though. That was the jump that he hooked nice and easily, but this was the fall. Looked good until he tried to make an adjustment, and that was it. Down to the ground for him.
And without recalling exactly, I believe the Spanish climber who made it through the hold that has spit most of the climbers off is also sitting in position at 8th, and we got Lim here at 7th. So it is important for the last climber, Young-geon Lee, to make it through the hold that has spit most of the climbers off in order to secure his spot.
Yeah, if he gets 13 points, he's going to knock Javier off that 8th spot. So Javier is in the danger zone at the moment, so he's going to be watching nervously. And this is a man who can easily make finals about to come out. He could easily make podium, to be honest with you. Young-geon Lee, here we go as he ties himself on. He's got that lovely grey Korean North Face jacket, which I'm very jealous of. I would quite like that one.
Sure, yeah.
They have a style this year.
Those are very nice. And actually, you know, while being in Korea, I saw many of the civilians, you know, the average folks just wearing that long style of jacket, keep themselves warm in cold Korea.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's ready now. Has a little word with the judge, pulls on, and off he goes. Up for the first couple of holds. I should mention as well the outdoor research, of course, providing our jackets, but far superior to any North Face model.
Right. I should give thanks to Outdoor Research for the backpack and the hat that was provided.
Oh, damn.
I'd also like to thank Rab Equipment for our team uniforms, which we certainly appreciate.
Thanking all sponsors here. All right, so Young-geon Lee starts on this mantly move, which we've seen 2 people jump on and 2 people fall on, so let's hope he doesn't attempt that. He's got an axe in. I thought it was just a hand. Now, what is he doing here?
Wow.
He's rotated himself all the way around.
He's making it work. You can see he's reaching with his left, which was the way that I would probably do it. We also saw some of these other strong climbers do it different ways. As long as you move through, that's all that counts, right? He's using the tool instead of his hand. Okay, no problem for him there. So he's almost at...
He's almost at a finals place, isn't he?
He's almost at the hold that's going to determine whether he moves on to finals or not.
Yeah, hold 13 is the one we're looking for. He doesn't know it, of course, and he's wrapping that hold.
That's the Yanga move there from the side, which is very effective, and that is a Korean hold too. That's probably the way I would hit that one, but I've definitely hit that hold other ways as well.
Yeah, but now he's struggling with the stone, wiggles it in, trying to find the sweet spot.
Now, you didn't like that stone, but I believe that there hasn't been a single climber that's actually fallen from that one yet.
I think it's because I can't see the hole in it, and that's what gets me, you know?
Right.
It's one of those. I'm just like, where are they holding on to on this?
Okay, we know we've got to make it through this hold here, and now he's in 9th.
Yeah, well, he's in the sweet spot of this, I think, so we'll commit to that, pulling off. Yeah, and look at the difference. It's amazing, isn't it? Once you get the good part of a hold, what you can actually do to it. So, up to the wrap. This is smooth stuff.
And he maintained that force laterally, right? And you can see it really paid off. He still has just a little ways to go before he earns his spot in the finals, though.
Yeah, he's coming up in 9th at the moment, 11th. 13th will knock Javier down. 12 now. He won't know, of course. You guys do at home. Up he goes, into the double Stein pulls.
Okay, this is it. If he can move through here, he's secured his spot.
High feet, ignores that blue box. Yes, he's in now. Okay, well, the crowd might let him know.
Am I the only one that took a deep breath there?
So the stress is gone, that's why. It's been a stressful semi-final, this one, for sure, but what an exciting one. And now we get to watch a sort of a victory climb through the last couple of holds here.
Yeah, whether he knows it or not, he's just climbing for fun here. He's already got his spot secured. But with his number one spot from the qualifiers, he had performed at the highest level in qualifiers and may have the greatest shot to proceed up the route farther than we have seen others. So stay tuned. Let's see how he does for the rest of this climb.
Yeah, he's certainly one of the favourites for this comp. Qualified in a good position and will want to go into the finals in a strong position as well.
And it seems like it's no mere coincidence that the last three climbers have all secured their spots in the finals. So we know it's a risky game for everybody, but it's no mere coincidence that some of the climbers who have finished at the highest rankings in qualifiers are also in the finals.
There we go. Well, listen, let's play the emoji game one last time before we go. Send me an emoji on the live chat to best describe how terrifying this has been. I've just sent mine, so drop me an emoji on the live chat. Let us know the feelings behind this competition. Young-geon Lee is making his way over towards the right now, setting himself up for this jump.
We've got a question about the weight of the tools. They are different weights depending on the tools. Some are carbon fiber, some are aluminum, and so on. But you know, the tools are, I don't know, somewhere around 1 kilogram. I think is a good number to think about. And you know, at the same time, these climbers want light tools. They're obviously strong enough so that a couple grams, 100 grams here and there don't make a big difference.
Oh no, he's down. Well, he went for the jump, got himself set, dropped back down, tried to catch the axe, but that fired off, and he's disappointed. But it's 6th place as things stand, and therefore it will be in the finals for Young-geon Lee.
And it's worth noting that the very first climber, Patrick from Switzerland, fell in that very same move. And so while he finished in the lowest position from the qualifiers, he actually secured his spot in the finals. So it's never a sure thing. And wow, that was a lot of fun to watch.
It was a wild ride, wasn't it? Well, we'll just watch his highlights before checking out the results. And then we will leave you and say goodbye. That was the axe that plummeted down towards the ground. Couldn't save that drop that time, but good performance from him. And he's into the finals. Well, let's just wait and have a look at the top 8 who have made it through. There we go. This is the results as they stand. And just a reminder once more that things might change after this broadcast. But for now, this is as things are. So those 8 will be climbing later on this evening. And we are coming back at 6:30 Central European time for that finals. And Daniel, thank you so much for joining me in the commentary box. It's been an absolute pleasure spending time with you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Matt.
Awesome. Well, 10-7. I got that wrong. So 6:50 Central European time will be showing the finals. So make sure you join us. Set an alarm. And thank you so much, everyone. Well, my name is Matt Groom. We will join you later on. Goodbye, everyone. Have a fantastic afternoon, and we will return very soon.
I don't know, you keep wanting to go back and you can never stop.
I've been dreaming of winning World Cups, or at least being able to stand on the podium of a World Cup.
What makes a champion? I mean, I think it's about kind of being able to perform at the highest level and dealing with some fairly kind of tenuous conditions.
You're not happy with the place until you're at the top. Yeah, last season was almost like a comedy show.
It kind of did take over my life then for quite a few years.
It's the fierce version of everything.
If it goes their way on the day, they could all easily be up there on the podium.
And it is a big family that kind of hate each other.